Hi, everybody. So good to be here with you this month. First, because it's my favorite season, sweater weather. And second, maybe even a little more excited and happy than usual to be recording this video. Why? Well, the title this month is called Cultivating Presence in Extreme Situations. This is because a couple of weeks ago, as I was pulling out of my driveway to go to an appointment, I was maybe halfway past our next door neighbor's house, when all I could hear was this high-pitched screeching. So loud. Someone was screeching their brakes. I heard tires burning. I heard this screeching sound. And my nervous system went into full-on fight or flight. And I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw the front grille of a Jeep just trying desperately not to hit me. And I swerved into the oncoming traffic lane because there was no one coming. And as I pulled out of my driveway, this is so important to note, there was no one coming. Literally, no cars coming from either direction when I pulled out of my driveway. This man was going so fast that he couldn't stop as he came around the bend and I had pulled out of my driveway. And it's a 45 in that zone. He had to be doing 90 miles an hour. Had to be. He was in a full skid, and he still came halfway up the length of my car. So had I not pulled across into the oncoming lane, he would have totaled my car. And my neck would have snapped so far back from the impact, and I likely would have driven straight into the guardrail or on down into the ravine where the guardrail ends. It would have been bad. Very bad. So in that moment, when my nervous system is in full heightened response, and he stops halfway up my car, and he's got remorse all over his face. He's as surprised as I am. And he keeps saying to me through the windows, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm stunned. And all I can manage in that moment is, "You need to get away from me." That is literally the self-defense language that came out of my mouth. And I signal to oncoming traffic, now coming, and he still stares at me. And honestly, it took everything I had not to get out of my car and sound like one of those crazy, angry people, to yell at him for being so reckless, for doing at least double the speed limit, coming around a bend where people live in a residential neighborhood. Instead, I had the composure to just say, "Please leave." And then I was able to pull back into the proper lane. And then I was able to pull over to the shoulder because I still needed a minute, right? My body started to shake a little bit and I didn't really know how it all happened because it was so fast. Our instincts take over. And that's the part that I want to talk about. That's the only reason why I bring this up. Because you're going to have experiences in your life, and you need to understand the mechanisms at play when you do, and the conscious decisions you have to make in those moments that you don't think are available to you, but they are. The subconscious mind, that takes over, right? In hindsight, it feels like something inside of me just knew what to do, and that's truth. Because the subconscious mind's primary directive is to keep you safe, to move you away from danger, to move you away from pain, to keep you alive and safe. So it feels like something other than my consciousness took over, because it is. And I've actually had this experience happen before. So what I want to discuss is that internal process that happens and what we do right after that really, really matters. Because the meaning that you ascribe to these things is important. If you walk away from an experience like that and say, "People are crazy and it's not safe out there. People are driving like maniacs. People are so distracted," your subconscious mind is hearing that as an instruction. And it's going to prioritize it because it's associating it with the danger you were just in. It's going to associate it with danger, with other people, with driving on roads. And you will feel unsafe and hypervigilant every time you leave the house. And you may not even drive again. This is nervous system dysregulation. it's also exhausting. And then it leads to burnout and the breakdown of your body if you consistently carry that belief. So when I pulled over to breathe, to come back to myself, to come back to my center, I decided right there, because I have such a deep understanding of the subconscious mind and what's happening, I decided right there that this incident was not going to negatively impact me. Instead, I said, boy, does he feel badly. And I am so grateful. I love my little black convertible Beetle. I love my life. I am so grateful everyone drove away fine. I decided then and there that I was fine, and my nervous system immediately calmed down. I had a heck of a headache for a few hours after that from the cortisol spike, the adrenaline spike. But even that, I thought, look how magnificent our bodies are. How the intelligence that runs us responds in microseconds. I don't even remember pulling into the other lane. And the reason I'm sharing all of this is for one specific important reason. The meaning that you apply to any circumstance in your life will take form. We are self-fulfilling prophecies, and we are very, very powerful. Life is not perfect. We would be so bored if it was. We would start to break things just so that we could have something to do, something to fix, a problem to solve. And then we would feel accomplished, like we were moving forward and evolving. We are not here seeking perfection. The moment you have everything you want, there's something else you want. You'll break something just so that you can continue to learn and evolve and grow. So challenges are going to come. And if we accept that challenges are going to come, and sometimes we're not going to see something that's coming around the corner, literally, frightful things will enter at times, but we can handle them. We truly can. And if you don't believe it, therein may be the higher lesson involved. One thing I know is that everything is an opportunity to observe ourselves, to come back home to our true divine nature, to create a deeper relationship with the intelligence that runs our bodies, that governs over us, that is always listening, always protecting. And if we can develop a strong partnership with that, we don't have to ever be afraid. Had I left the planet in that accident, I would be so proud of all that I've accomplished. The question is for you right now, would you? Would you? Something happened tomorrow that you can't foresee. Would you be happy with what you've done so far? Because I wasn't able to say that just 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I was happy with what I was doing, but there was more. I wanted more. There was more I knew I came to do. And so I started to really focus on that. I started to utilize my skills and my tools to do that. And I built this business from the ground up that I love. I built the programs, the group work that I teach that I love. Because this really matters. Helping people matters to me. Seeing people strong, deeply connected to themselves, to their core, to their purpose, evolving, not being afraid, feeling powerful, feeling aligned, understanding that what they choose to believe impacts what they create. It's a direct correlation, so we can move the rest of the world out of the way. That doesn't mean you have to like what you see in front of you. It doesn't mean you have to agree with what you see going on in the world. Most of us don't. And that's okay. All of that is playing out. But if you want to live your life in a way that isn't affected by that, where you can be of the highest use, where you can love your life and develop healthy partnerships and loving communication, strong values that actually create the reality that you're living in versus continuing to create on autopilot because you're reactive to what's going on versus creative. You have to ask that question. If I left the planet tomorrow, would I be complete? Would I feel like I did? I would continue to do more if I was here, but I'm thrilled with what I've done so far. And if the answer to that is I don't know, or I'm not sure, or no, or I don't really want to say it out loud because inside I know it, but I just don't want to say it, then there is alignment work that needs to be done. There is leadership work that needs to be done. There are beliefs that are in the way. And science has proven over and over and over and over again that our psychology, our thoughts and beliefs, 100% direct our biology, our bodies. What you speak, what you believe, what you think, what you know, the subconscious mind is listening to. And it is carrying it out. And your brain is going to show you the evidence of that. So if you know there's more, but you're not doing it, and the outside world is the reason you're not doing it, that is called a limited belief. And it isn't necessarily true. You can spout all the facts about the world, but when you decide you're more powerful than the sum total of the collective forces creating the environment around you, that you can live and thrive alongside of it in your own little bubble, well, now you're playing a whole different game. So I knew that if I left the planet in that accident, I would be really proud of everything I've done. And so I knew I was okay. I did not let it mean that I wasn't safe. So I drove on to the chiropractor appointment that I had, and I didn't even bother to mention it to my chiropractor because it wasn't necessary. I was fine. I was not going to give it any more energy, any more airtime, any more processing. What I did do is take a few minutes to make a strong, conscious choice in that moment. And I felt my nervous system immediately respond. The subconscious mind took the direction, and it governs our autonomic nervous system. So I immediately shifted back into parasympathetic drive. And I know the power that we yield, and I am in awe of it every day. And this is your partner. This is your ally. This is this incredible divine intelligence that runs your body. When you sleep at night, you're not telling your lungs to continue to breathe or your heart to continue to beat. There is an intelligence that flows through you, that governs over you. So I chose to celebrate my subconscious mind and be so grateful for it, so amazed by it, deeply, deeply grateful. We have spaces of time in our lives where we seem to be going along fine, nothing big happening. And then we have stretches of time where we're in growth. Challenges come, frightful things happen. And it's in those times and in those decisions that we grow the most. So my question to you for the next month is, where are you in your cultivation process? Have circumstances in your life caused you to dysregulate? And if so, what meaning are you giving them? Are the results of those decisions what you want to be living out? And if not, start to contemplate them. How can you begin to change the belief that you have? Not in the phony, masking up, everything's great kind of way, not the bypassing, but in the deeper understanding that you are actually managing, that you are stronger than you think you are, more resilient, and perhaps even more clear on what's important to you and what isn't. There's growth in everything that you have a reaction to. If we can let go of the judgment and instead focus internally, there is a power there that will guide you through everything. And it already knows the best way. It will intervene when you're in danger, and it will protect you, whether you know it or not. This is well worth considering, because ultimately, the only time we can answer that question with a no is because we have fear. No, I don't feel like I've done it because this is happening, because such. You look for the because. The moment you hear the because, we're justifying not doing what we're yearning for, what we truly desire. And so we are responding in fear. And there is only love or fear. And they lead to very, very different experiences in life. So make your choices wisely. I thought that was a conversation worthy of having. Be well. If you live in the northern hemisphere, enjoy the cooling off, the fall equinox, this beautiful time of year where nature leads the way and shows us the beauty of letting go, the beauty of releasing, going into a different season internally of contemplation. And before we reach the winter, the fall is all about the beauty in the release. Let go of what you don't want to keep telling yourself because it doesn't feel good to even you anymore. You know what you want. You know what you want to be doing, and you know what you're telling yourself about why you're not. Examine that. Life is precious. It's fleeting. Don't wait until you have regrets later. I'm going to be leading a new group from the beginning of November, I believe. I think November 8th is the launch, but I'll have it on the website soon. And we're going to cross over the new year together. We're going to work together every Saturday in through January on leadership. This is going to be a really important program about how we really learn the conscious steps into our alignment. There's something I want you to consider. What if all the things you already want, the desire that you know, whether that's the larger business, the loving relationship, the healthy body, the success in your bank account, I don't care what it is, you know what it is, and if it's important to you, it's important. That's all that matters. You get to have those desires, and those desires, what if they are coming from somewhere? Not just your imagination of wouldn't it be nice? That's what we're led to believe. But I want you to think about something else. I want you to consider, what if there's a version of you already that's already chosen this? And it's calling you to it. Are you going to follow it? Are you going to tune in and listen? Are you going to learn to make the choices and the decisions that you need to make in order to create those desires? That's what leadership is. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you, as always, for inviting me into your homes, into your spaces, into your living rooms for chats like this. They mean the world. Be well, and I'll see you next month. Bye for now.